I know the Mr. Abhishek is available.
He's asking for the right for presentation, and I don't know, because we can't see him in this presentation. His name is not coming, and he's saying he's already logged in. Please talk to him and
Hello? Huh? Hello? So Dr. Neetu Singh and Pooja, are they available for a presentation?
Sir Venugopal sir. Sir,
Tell me,
this is sir. Sir Abhishek is in mobile with me and he is finding it difficulty to join in the link and he is not able to find the link. We are sending the link, sir. 2 minutes.
By
No,
that time, we can start.
Yes, sir. By the time you can go for the next ones.
next participant only.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Mr. Abhishek Anand having the technical problem, he will join within the next this one 15 minutes after. So that now we would like to present Dr. Neetu Singh, Neetu Jain. Dr. Neetu Jain is available. Dr. Neetu Jain. Yes, sir. And Pooja Sharma. Can anybody respond?
Sir, good afternoon, only. I am here. I am Anuradha Shankar.
So may I know your name is?
Sir, I am at 12:45. My name is Anuradha Bandyopadhyay Shankar.
No, 12:45. No.
Yes, sir.
We'll wait. Dr. Neetu Jain and Pooja Sharma, if they are available, we will ask them to present. Otherwise, next participant, Anuradha Bandyopadhyay. Okay, madam?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we are.
Just give me one moment so I can share my PP.
Okay. So now Anuradha Bandyopadhyay is presenting her paper. The title is The Fostering Excellence in Education, the case for TQM in implementation, a course on the research methods in higher education in India. This
Yes, sir.
is from
I'm just
KLF
having a
University.
trouble sharing my.
It is a screen, madam.
Yes, I'm sharing, but I can't see.
You have to open your PPT.
Yes, sir. The PPT is open.
You have to open your PPT, madam. Where is your PPT? We don't know.
Yes, it's there sir, on my desktop.
Open, madam. Your PPT open.
Yes, sir.
There, no?
Sir, just give me one moment to open the PPT. Yes, sir. Can you see? The PPT is now open.
So where is it, madam? Right side or something is there? I think you could check up. Top right side. Open, huh?
Can you see now?
Yes.
Can you see my PPT?
Yes. You can continue, madam.
Okay. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. This paper is about enhancing the teaching and learning process in a higher education institution. I have the subject of literature review, and it is a common idea in Indian education that we need a research methods course. And this research methods course is advocated for all departments. So I will not go on to my abstract. So you can see just a short introduction and again it advocates the inclusion of a research method course in higher education in India. This is to foster research excellence and enhance learning outcomes. Excellence itself is a measurable quality. So, which is why I have also suggested an academic audit. So, through an academic audit and a tracking system and assessment, we can actually understand that we really need to start a research method course in the first place in all education. Right now, we do have some research methodology papers at the UG level, but what we need is a research method, which is an exposure to design thinking, to research design, and the handling of data. I feel that critical thinking will really encourage through this, and also
Excuse
how
me,
the
madam, you can
graduate.
loudly you can speak, or your mic may be a distance, I think. Loudly speak.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'll just speak a little louder. So, going to the importance of a dynamic curriculum in education, the education industry should be dynamic and change oriented. It also should be market driven, which means that in the job these days, the people are really needed to engage in innovative thinking and critical analysis. So, a research method at the college level is absolutely non-negotiable. Some educators also believe, and I have given the citation in the paper, that this research could be even funded. And from the first year itself, we can create the community of teaching and learning where research is an everyday process. So, the role of research methods in higher education, the curriculum should be made according to the needs of the student. And the needs of the student, first and foremost, is to become a good professional, and futuristic and market-driven curriculum is crucial to success in the 21st century. Because the 21st century is actually the knowledge society. Earlier, like in the medieval age, we had the morality society. Right now, we have the knowledge society. And it is very important to track the
How
teaching
do I
and
display
learning.
my face on this video? This is WebEx. No? Where do I click?
Sir, can I continue? Can I continue?
Yeah,
Continue,
ma'am, your
madam.
voice is clear. Continue.
Yes. Introduction to research methods at the undergraduate stage is necessary, and that is what I'm arguing for. And it should be homogeneously done, and all the departments at the UG level need to be a participant and need to actually expose the student to this methodology. There is a definite need for undergraduate research. I have,
Miss Anuradha, ma'am.
yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Sir, you have logged into 3 devices, ma'am. You are getting echo.
Okay, sir. I
You
have
can mute in mobile or you can use your own system. Otherwise, you mute system and speak through your mobile.
Sir, I am speaking to my laptop.
Yeah, you just unmute yourself from laptop and mute in the mobile. Okay.
Screen shots ఎందుకు వేస్తున్నారు?
Ma'am, please continue.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Please
Your voice
continue,
is clear.
madam.
Yes. So I will go over the definition again. An inquiry or investigation conducted by an undergraduate student that makes an original, intellectual, or creative contribution to the discipline. This additional paper is actually going to enhance the students' learning and engagement with his material and with his discipline, so that he can go in for deep learning. Here we are also trying to achieve the sustainable goals, which says that a system needs to be set up, and research can flourish only in such an ecosystem. And this is enhancing quality of higher education transfer. So the term quality has been adopted from business and industry, and sometimes we are a little confused about it. When we talk about it in the education industry. So here I quote Wallen, 1998, who affirms that improvements in certain areas of education can bring about a rise in the quality of higher education processes. The sustainability goals also point to major transformation in higher education. I take this opportunity to say a very
Ma'am, please, we are getting lot of echo. I think next to you, someone is listening to
Why
your
to conduct this
lecture.
online research conference? Better
no,
to
sir,
call
only
people.
one mic is
There
open.
are
Hello, sir, can I
You continue, madam, and you can conclude.
Yes, sir. So, in conclusion, I would like to say that there is a tool for conducting an action research, which I say is an academic audit. So, first, I have a research methods teaching audit, where there are domains which should be tested, and there are key areas of investigation pointed out, and there are tools suggested. Now, after we teach this to the control group, we can have a tracking outcome, and it will be clear to us this
again.
academic audit whether we need such a
I don't
paper and
know.
whether we
Just
need such
share
a
that the PPT is in the desktop, so I can take it from share. Upload करना पड़ेगा.
Mr. Abhishek,
You can continue, madam.
please mute yourself,
yes.
sir.
Yes, so sir, I conclude by saying that the academic audit and the tools that I have suggested would help us in making up our minds whether we need a homogeneous curriculum in which such methods course would be non-negotiable and should be there in every college. Thank you so much.
Questions from the judges?
Madam, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible? See, you mentioned in your PPT that in the dynamic curriculum, the
Yes, sir.
need of students you mentioned. See,
Yes.
is it the curriculum is based on the need of the student or the society or industry?
Thank you, sir.
So
That's a
what is your
wonderful
opinion?
question. My opinion, as I pointed out in this paper, is that the need of the student and the society's needs are interlinked. The student comes from society and in turn must service the society, must give his services. And there is an interlinkage. And through research methods, we can really, make this link stronger.
And see, what steps that we can take if the course is going to, that means the field is going to vanish. See, generally, if you observe the higher education, this higher education is 3+2, otherwise 4+2.
Yes.
We have the higher education. So at the beginning, they are choosing the field and they're entering, but it
Yes.
is taking 6 years. So
Yes,
what
sir.
is your opinion to uh, improve the quality and to
Thank you, sir.
sustain after completion of the course?
Yes, sir. So thank you so much, sir. A dynamic curriculum would say that some courses they just be eased out, But if research is done on it, then we have good records. And we can keep this as a record to start the next course or to have a interdisciplinary or in order to become something different, we always need the past. So again, I strongly affirm that research methods will help us to keep a good, viable record of that which is going away from us and slipping away.
Okay, okay.
So any other judges?
Mrs. Anuradha Bandyopadhyaya,
Yes, sir.
my question is also on curriculum. So
Yes.
when you mentioned that there should be a kind of a dynamic curriculum, what
Yes,
are the
sir.
components that you would like to incorporate in your curriculum? Could you just list out a few so that we would have an idea of what sort of a curriculum should be prepared to meet the standards of students' participation and finally leading it to success?
Thank you for this question, sir. And I would like to say that my first suggestion is that we have research methods for everyone. My second suggestion is a skilling curriculum and has a spectrum is communication.
What is the level of the students that you have in mind? Because we are talking of research methods.
Yes, sir. I am talking about undergraduate research here because the approach has always been that once the student wants to do some research and he is vague about it, and other focus drive him to that research, and then he does it. But if it becomes a part of undergraduate research, then he and the teacher
Is it
knows the
micro or
methodology.
macro research? Micro or macro? Micro or macro research?
That might depend on the subject. And since I am saying it for every department, uh, it could be micro or in some places macro. But micro is always more helpful. As I
No,
have
what I
said,
mean to say is it necessary to narrow it down to the level of the students, or you'd like to take in bigger chunks of the research components?
yes, sir. I would like to take it the bigger chunks of research, not really, narrowing it down what the student can achieve now, because we need that he should improve. And this research methodology, I also feel that he be exposed to industry. My suggestion is that this research is done partly through the help of industry, and he knows exactly where to go and where to innovate and where his next life.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Okay, any questions from audience? I think there is no questions from audience. Okay, we'll go to the next participant. Thank you, madam, for your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So the next participant, we are inviting Dr. I think Mr. Abhishek Anand and Dr. R.K. Dwivedi. Mr. Abhishek Anand, you can continue. Mr. Abhishek Anand. Can you respond? Mr. Abhishek Anand.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Please continue.
Yeah, I'm just uploading the presentation, sir.
Okay, but I'm ready at that time. Okay, anyhow, continue. Please continue fast.
Yeah. Sir, is the presentation visible?
No,
Is it visible, sir?
not visible.
Now it is visible, sir.
No, it's not visible. It's not there.
Entire screen.
Venugopal sir.
Yes.
Sir,
Chapandi.
Dr. Jain is called me, who is the paper author for the second paper. She has some trouble with WebEx link, and we have shared the new link. She will join.
Okay, after the
Yes, sir. Paper ID P6, sir. Paper ID
yes,
P6.
yes. And
Yes.
after this presentation of Abhishek,
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I will
the
intimate her.
next part. Okay, first you tell her. Tell her.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yes, I
is
will.
it visible now?
Yes. Sir, your screen is visible, sir. You can start presenting by placing
Yes, sir.
that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just to, you need to open your PPT.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Abhishek Anand. I am working with GLA University, Mathura, as an assistant professor. Sir, today I have assembled here to share some of the research findings on the topic of a study of gross enrollment ratio of higher education institutions in two Asian giants, India and China.
Sir,
So the presentation
Excuse me,
goes this
sir.
way.
Excuse
can you
me.
That,
release that in
yeah.
presentation mode?
Please presentation view.
Place in presentation mode, sir.
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. So now it is visible.
No.
Sir, it is visible, sir, for us, but you just keep that in the presentation. It is there as a
Oh,
open. Your PPT is open, but please place that in the presentation mode. Go to slideshow. On top row, there is a home, insert, design, animation, slideshow. Go to slideshow. Okay, Abhishek, are you able to listen to my voice?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. On the
Now
top
is
row,
it
there
okay,
is a,
sir?
sir, your screen is visible for us.
Okay, sir.
But keep that in presentation. Why? Because the latest what are there is very minimal. So if you keep that in presentation mode, it will be very easy for us to visible to understand the presentation.
क्या हो रहा है ये?
So, Mr. Abhishek, in the top row, fifth column.
Okay, sir.
Sir, use your mouse cursor, sir, please. We are
Yeah.
not able to see your mouse cursor.
Top row, fifth column. Yes, sir.
Sir, your mouse cursor is there at your name, sir. Please use your mouse cursor, sir.
Slideshow. Move your cursor to slideshow.
So you please close your PPT and open it back. I think it was stuck. Stop sharing. Share again.
Screen.
Yeah, please share your screen, sir, now. Sir, on the bottom of the Webex, there is a share option. You just click on the share option.
Yes, sir, I have done that.
But not yet you have seen that, your screen. Otherwise, you just mail your presentation to us, sir. Then we will present
Okay,
on
sir.
behalf of you.
Okay.
You just mail that to the IQHEI office at the rate of KUniversity.in. By that, we can present from here.
By the time second person you can see. Teja.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Hello, Teja.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Miss Pooja Sharma. Paper ID 6.
Dr. Neetu Jain and Pooja Sharma.
Yes,
Are you
sir.
ready for presentation?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Please present it.
Ma'am, I made you a presenter. You can share your screen. And you
Sure,
can start
sir.
the presentation.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it visible?
Yes, madam, visible.
Good afternoon to all the chairpersons and the coordinator, and it's thank you for the opportunity for the paper presentation and inviting us for the conference. So, as we all know that we are here to present the papers related to the quality and assuring the growth related to the higher education institutions today present in our. So my
Ma'am,
paper under the guidance, is my voice audible? I hope.
ma'am, your voice is audible, but you are not presenting the any PPT.
Your PPT is not visible.
Please
Sir,
share it
I have
again. Yeah,
shared.
please share it again.
Okay.
Yeah, now it is
Is
visible,
it
ma'am.
okay?
Please.
Thank you so much, sir. So under the guidance of Dr. Neetu Jain, I'll be presenting the paper on quality assurance and governance in higher education. As we all know that the higher education system plays a vital role to our growth and development towards bringing up the policymakers and to make them an activist and to provide them the approach, providing adequate resources So higher education institutions, how they play a vital role in human capital development, research, and technological innovations, they cannot be taken for granted. As we can see that the government has set a target of increasing the gross enrollment ratio, that is the GER, from the present level of about 12% to 15% by the end of the 11th five-year plan and to 30% by the year 2020. That was the goal set up by the government. And for that, they have taken various new initiatives to increase the GER, and that has been realized at their education system directly determine their state's economic success. Next point I would like to present is the education is nation strength. That is very true in its sense as it helps in growing size and diversity of the higher education sector, particularly in terms of courses, management, and geographical coverage. A developed nation is inevitably an educated nation. Indian higher education system is considered to be the third largest in the world, next to those of the United States and China. It is since independence, India as a developing nation has been continuously progressing in education. Although there have been a lot of challenges to the higher education system of India, there have been a lot of opportunities to overcome these challenges as well. As we all know, therefore, it is a straightforward for India to transfer our country from a developing nation to a developed nation. That's what we are here to present the growth and importance of why we should provide the highlight towards the India's higher education system and institutions. Why the growth of higher education sector in India is important. It is because expansion of tertiary education systems. In 2004, about 132 million students enrolled in tertiary education, and that has grown from 68 million since 1991, and participation rates in tertiary education of over 50% for a single age cohort is becoming the benchmark for OECD countries. Next is the diversification of provision. As we all know that provisions are considered to be the basic and important aspect as how and where to increase and make the implementations related to the education system. New institution types have emerged and educational offerings within institutions have multiplied and private provisions has expanded. Next is new modes of delivery, more flexible. They need to be more flexible ways of conditions such as distance learning and e-learning that, as we all know, played a major and vital role during the pandemic and COVID-19 situation when all the institutions currently during that time were not motor and were not accessible to all. More heterogeneous student bodies. Female participation has increased and there are more mature students enrolled in higher education. Student bodies are also heterogeneous in terms of socioeconomic background, ethnicity, and previous education. And also they had increased the growing internationalization of higher education. Third relevance is research and innovation are leveraging knowledge production. As we all know that without any research or innovation, the growth development is not possible, as we'll not be able to keep an eye on the development and the areas to be presented as where exactly to work and how to work. For this, institutions are making a significant contribution to research and innovation by creating new knowledge through scientific and technological research. Now, as our paper title says, assurance and governance. So the role of governance is considered to be the most important key aspect, as without the intervention of governance, development is not possible. So governance encompasses the structures, relationships, and process through which national and institutional policies for tertiary education are developed. They have implemented and reviewed certain policies on the basis of which the changes have been made. Governance comprises a complex web, including the legislative framework, the characteristics of the institutions, and how they relate to the whole system, how money is allocated to institutions, and how they are accountable for the way it is spent, as well as less formal structures and relationships that steer and influence behavior related to the institutions and how they work. The central agencies, which accredits universities and colleges in general education, is the National Assessment and Accreditation Council. that was established by the UGC, University Grants Commission, in 1994. For instance, the Distance Education Council and the National Council for Teacher Education are certain more initiatives being set up by the UGC in order to provide a development for the accreditation of mechanism and proper working related to the development in the education system and institutions. This is the vision related to what higher education systems needed to be done. Less government and more governance. This means that downsizing scope of interference and promoting autonomy in good institutions with quality checks. This will ensure that the intervention of government at the ground level should not be initiated so that the level of education compromised. Next is end of inspection Raj. This means regulation to be maintained through transparent proactive public disclosure, IT-enabled monitoring systems, and merit-based decision making. This will ensure that nothing and no biasness should be provided on the basis of education. Next, it says structure, how a structure to be formed. HECI will be a 13-member commission with academics on board rather than administrators, it says. Next, what are mandates for this? Provide for mentoring of institutions found to be deficient in academic standards, specify norms and process for fixing of fee chargeable by institutes, and advise states on making education affordable for all, no matter whether you want to take an admission to the private institution or the government initiated, but it needs to maintain a standard educational and fee structure so that it will be affordable for all and nobody has to think twice towards taking the admission to any institution at any level. And this will also specify eligibility conditions for appointment of VCs, pro VCs, chancellors, directors, principals, heads of departments, and teaching and other departments. It will also have an onboard 2 vice chancellors, which will include one from central and state university, 6 eminent academicians who should have worked as professors in universities. This will ensure that the people who will be working and taking the initiatives have the experience and relevant knowledge related to the particular field into the academics. And also education councils in states, union territories on rotation basis, besides the secretary to the higher department of the education. Now, how the assurance and governance have developed and they have maintained and grown to a level of evolution. The Distance Education Council that we had discussed about and the National Council for Teachers Education are discussing with NAAC the procedures for developing their accreditation mechanisms. As on May 21, 2006, National Assessment and Accreditation Council, that is NAC, had accredited only 128 universities and 2,879 colleges and re-accredited 4 universities and 43 colleges. It has also created and approved merely 1,232 programs from 325 institutions as against of 14,000 programs in 3,589 approved UG and PG, that is undergraduate and postgraduate, and 1,608 diploma institutions. And the progress also accredited and improved in last few years, as we can see that both NAC and NBA have plans to complete the backlog of accreditation of eligible institutions during the coming few years. And also there has been a paradigm shift towards the higher education from national education to global education and from one-time education for a few to lifelong education for all, from teacher-centric education to learner-centric education. As these changes are considered to be the most important in order to bring in the development, because without being focusing on who is going to take in the education, it is not possible to develop and to further grow. If there any organization, there's any revolution, any development, any growth, there needs to be certain challenges which every organization and the tracking administration has to overcome. So there are certain challenges in higher education in India. which we need to overcome as to improve the education system and the institutions and the working of the institutions. As we know that we have completed 75th year of independence, and we know that we are still lacking behind in terms of our education system, and it has not been developed fully. We are not able to list a single university as in top 100 universities of the world. This is because there are certain loopholes as to be discussed. Number one is the enrollment issue. As we know that gross enrollment ratio of India in higher education is only 15%, which is quite low as compared to the developed as well as other developing countries. This we need to overcome, and this will be enhanced only with the increase of enrollments at school level. The supply of our education institutes is insufficient to meet the growing demand in the country. Another important aspect and the challenge is the quality in higher education. This is considered to be the multi-dimensional, multi-level, and dynamic concept. As without the quality in education, we will not be able to project the growth and the development of that particular field related to the particular administration or focus, because without quality, nothing can be judged. So for this, it is considered to be the foremost challenges being faced in India today. However, the government is continuously focusing on quality
Madam, you
education.
can conclude. If you are taking a lot of time, please conclude.
Okay, sir. Okay. The last point is infrastructure. That is also considered to be the one of the most important aspect and the challenges in our higher education institutions, as we are lacking behind due to the poor physical facilities, which include sometimes the basic facilities related to the water, uh, toilet issues, ready-made hostelries or photocopy shops, all these issues. Conclusion of the topic is that we need to focus on where our education system is going and how we can improve the higher education institutions and the quality and the development related for the growth. So education is a process by which a person's body, mind, and character are formed and strengthened. It's bringing of head, heart, and mind together and enabling a person to develop an all-round personality relating to this knowledge in them. As we know, India has expanded rapidly in the last 6 decades after independence, yet we have still a way far to achieve in terms of the education. I conclude here by providing you the last point that when it comes to the institutions and the working of the institutions, the most important aspect, as we had already discussed in the challenges, are they related to the performance, to the infrastructure, the quality, and the funding and the recognition. Therefore, we need to focus on all these points so that the basic necessities we need to improve on, it will automatically enhance the higher education institution working and improve the quality of the education that is considered to be the mandate force in terms of development for an overall personality and for the overall development related to equal opportunities along with quality and assurance. So here I end.
Any questions from the judges?
Am I audible? Ms.
Yes, sir.
Sharma,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You
uh,
now you
actually,
are audible.
actually, for assuring the quality, we have different bodies of organization like NAC, DEC, UGC, ACT, like that. So, in your opinion, do we need this many number of accreditation processes, or can we have a single common accreditation process for improving the quality in higher education? And moreover, if you take one institute, see, we can have different levels from different accreditation bodies. So why can't we get the common thing? So what is your opinion on this?
Sir, in my opinion, accreditation is considered to be a review process that basically provides an overall report card or it determines the educational programs to meet different standards of quality and also the level of assurance towards the education or any other aspect, or in terms of the institutions. So different bodies are required in order to meet the different level of the challenges, to overcome those challenges, because one institution is, I feel like, not enough to focus on any particular area. We have different bodies like NAC, NBA, UGC. So all these bodies have different focus related to the different areas. Like for example, NAC and NBA, that is the National Board of Accreditation, has a particular focus related to what accreditation should be and what rules and regulations should be made. This is considered to be one of the major bodies responsible for accreditation of higher education institution. And it focuses basically on the rules and lawmaking related to the accreditation only. Whether, on the other hand, when it comes to UGC and other bodies, the UGC is considered to be a statutory body which is set up by the Department of Higher Education, and it particularly focuses on overall structure of our education system, which includes at university level, which includes at the basic level, at graduation level, and it sets up the funds and also disperses the funds to certain recognized universities and colleges. So, in my view, there are different parameters and pillars we need to focus on. And to meet all those parameters, we need different bodies that work together but distribute their responsibilities to focus on particular areas and overcome particular challenges.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Any questions from Ravikumar sir?
Yes. Yes. What are the parameters considered to assess deficiency in education? That's one of my questions. Then the next one is, you said that in such a case, you're going to provide mentors. Who are you going to consider to be mentoring the groups where there are deficiency in education standards?
Your voice is breaking. Sorry. Could
What
you
are the
please?
parameters considered to assess deficiency in education? That's my first part of the question. And in
Okay, sir.
such a case, you said that if such a deficiency is found, you said you are going to provide them with some kind of mentors. Mentoring is seen taking place. Who are the people entrusted with the task of mentoring?
Okay. Sir, there are certain parameters related to the deficiency, or which we need to focus in terms of education. What I feel like is the equity, and there are other parameters related to organization and management's effort, development and personal skills, learning resources, and the most important is academic support. So these are considered to be the important parameters and factors also for the when it comes to the
You think
quality
all
education.
of this that you mentioned will actually cater to the needs of the enhancement of academic standards?
Pardon, sir?
All of these that you mentioned, do they
Yes, sir.
focus the attention on academic standards, improvisation or enhancement of academic standards? All the points that you mentioned.
Sir, I think they are correlated when it comes to the quality education, because organization and management plays a vital role apart from development of personal skills and learning resources and academic support. Academic support is very important, because if we don't have the uh, uh, technical and the professional staff, or the technical or professional um, like educators or professors, then they will be of no use to provide the institution or any particular center for education to the students or learners, because professors and teachers are considered to be the gurus, and whatever knowledge we aspire from them, we grab them, we take into them, take into whatever knowledge we get, and then how our personality develops, it is how they mold us. So for me, academic support and a good professional teacher and professor is I think the most important thing. Apart from that, development of personal skills is what we learn from our institutions, from
Pooja
school
Sharma.
level, college level.
Pooja Sharma. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
We will
Thank you,
move
sir.
to the next paper. The paper title, A Comparative Study of Gross Enrollment Ratio in Higher Education Institutes of India and China. And the authors are Mr. Abhishek Anand and Dr. R.K. Dwivedi, IBM India.
Madam, is the slides visible?
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
It is
Yes,
very,
sir.
very
It is
visible.
visible.
Yes, sir.
Sir, please continue.
Yeah. Yes. So the topic of the discussion is a study of gross
Sir,
enrollment
again it
ratio of
was
higher education.
displaying us.
Yes, sir.
Your present. Yes, now it is visible, sir. Your
Yes, sir.
presentation is visible, sir.
So
Please
I will
continue.
start this discussion, sir. This is a presentation on gross enrollment ratio of higher educational institutions of India and China. Uh, just to share some of the inputs of the flow of presentation. First, I will be discussing about the gross enrollment ratio as a concept, then why the study has been undertaken between two populated countries like India and China, then followed by literature review, then identification of the factors which affect gross enrollment ratio, and certain economic factors like population and gross domestic product, per capita income, human development index, and gross expenditure on education sector, how all these factors are contributing to the increasing or decreasing trend of gross enrollment ratio. Finally, there will be analysis of data, certain findings, and bibliography. So, what is gross enrollment ratio? Worldwide, UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific, Cultural Organization have tried to define it as a statistical measure which is used in education industry worldwide. It pertains to a country in a specific level of education, regardless of age, expressed as a percentage of population in the official age group corresponding to the level of education. So this is actually an education index which doesn't irrespective of the age factor of the student community, it takes the percentage of people how much they are enrolled in primary, secondary, or higher education in comparison to the total age group of the student community. So, but why the comparison of this economic factor within two countries like India and China? Just to give some logics behind it, that in 1950, both the countries were same on the same footing on economic indicators like poverty, literacy, as well as gross domestic product. Currently, China's gross enrollment ratio is almost double that of India, and China's GDP is more than 4 times that of India. Data regarding this fact is being displayed in the presentation, sir. Third, that since India will surpass China population in couple of years, it is really not certain that India will be able to even achieve 50% of GR in the tertiary sector as compared to China in near future. That means human resource of India may remain slightly inferior to this China in higher education in coming years. So looking at these facts, naturally a curiosity arises within a mind that what are those social, political, or economic, even educational framework policies which actually are responsible for this stark differences of GER. Now, literature review. Many international journals taken from EBSCO and ProQuest websites were covered. Other than that, some relevant government reports like All India Survey of Higher Education, published in the year 2020, 21, and 21-22. Other than that, the upcoming of National Education Policy 2020, which speaks about the achievement of 50% of GER by 2030. It's a target which is given to higher education institutes in this country. Also, certain reports of Association of Indian Universities and University Grants Commission have been reviewed to collect certain data and put this presentation. Now, what are those factors which affect gross enrollment ratio? There are 5 to 6 factors. Number one being economic, second is political, third is social factors, educational policies and reforms, because both the countries have given their national education policy within a gap of 20 years. So that this 20 years is actually taking heavy on Indian education system, and some other socio-economic factors. Let's see. Now, what are those economic facts and figures which affects GR of India and China? Number one, gross domestic product. Number two, population parameters. Number three, per capita income. Human Development Index, and government expenditure on education. The following presentation will discuss with data how they are relevant and how they impact the gross enrollment ratio. Number one. Now, this is the chart which tells us about gross enrollment ratio of India and China of last 10 years, maybe from 2020 if we move back till 2011. Over here we can see in the year 2011 the gross enrollment ratio of India and China were more or less the same. But by the time it became 2020, there is a stark difference. China has gone to 54.04%, where India lies at 28%. Now, why this has happened? What has happened in within these 10 years that there is a difference of gross enrollment ratio? It can be stated that the table shows that GR of China was almost equal to India during 2010 and 12. But after that, China registered a quantum jump in this front, and now almost it is double of India. It is really interesting fact, and it demands an study and interpretation. In fact, investigation should be there by researcher why there is a stark difference of GER. So the first factor which we try to corroborate is gross domestic product and population of both the countries. Now, this chart tells us about the GDP of India and China as well as population of both the countries. The chart is from year 2010-11 to 2019-20. Over here, we can see that in the year 1920, the GDP of India is 2622, and over here, the GDP of China is 14,700. Although, if we can see the population statistic of both the countries, it is hardly any difference. India is 139.6 crore, whereas China is 142.4 crores. Now, even though the population is same, but GDP, there is a huge gap. Why? Interpretation. So in 1990, it was India and China were more or less on the same platform. But in 2000, GDP of China became 4 times higher than that of India. Presently, the GDP of China is 5 times higher than India, although population-wise, both of them are same. Now, higher GDP indicates that there is a fast pace of development in primary, secondary, as well as tertiary sectors. Economic policies of Chinese government are focusing more on capitalism based growth, wherein production and consumption is at its hallmark. This also has bearing in total spending on education by an average Chinese family in comparison to Indian family. So when the percentage of GDP goes highest within a country or economic structure, sir, it clearly indicates that the amount of investment on health, on education, on quality of living, standard of living is much more than a country whose GDP growth rate is too low. Next, Human Development Index of India and China. Now, this Human Development Index, the last 10 years data of India and China is revealed here from 2010-11 to 2019-20. We can find a stark difference. The HDI of China is 0.761, but that of India is 0.645. Now, why this stark difference? Human development, what is HDI all about? Human Development Index refers to a matrix combining three variables. One is knowledge, which is expected years of schooling. Number two is long, healthy life expectancy at birth, and a decent standard of living, that is gross national per capita income. As per the latest data, the Human Development Index rank of India is 132 out of 191 participating countries in the world. But the HDI value of India in point terms is 0.633. The HDI value of China is 0.768, and the rank is 79 out of 191. So if we compare the rank and point value also, we find China to be far ahead than India. Now, this is a much higher statistic than that of India. So China is better in terms of citizens' health, even education, even decent standard of living. Now, with higher levels of education, definitely gross enrollment ratio of the country is going to be much higher than that of India. there is a relationship between the knowledge level of population and the gross enrollment ratio of that country. The higher the knowledge level, the more the enrollment ratio of the country. Next economic parameter is per capita income. Again, with in terms of dollars, this chart tells us from 2012 to 2020, the per capita income of China in 2020 is $10,500, whereas India it is only $1,901. But if we see the GR again, 54.4% with China, and in India it is 28%. The area of discussion from this chart is why there is a difference of per capita income and how it has impacted the gross enrollment ratio. Let's see. Now, per capita income indicates the average income earned per person in a given area. It may be a city, it may be a region, it may be a country in a specified year, maybe a financial year or a calendar year. It is calculated by dividing the area's total income by its total population. Now, this parameter shows the average income possessed by individuals in a country. But higher per capita income index higher earnings by household, which has a great impact on educational expenditures done by the household. This point is quite relevant. This finally results in more and more student participation and enrollment in schools, colleges, and the education system. So when the per capita income of a family will be higher, that means the householders of that family are willing to invest more and more on the education of their kids and siblings. This way, the enrollment ratio from that country where per capita income is a bit high becomes more. But per capita income of India is only $1,901. On the contrary, the per capita income of China is $10,500. This is the statistic of year 2020-21. Now there is a much this is much higher than that of India. This significant difference
Abhishek,
indicates that yes, ma'am.
sir, can you please conclude?
Yeah, just last slide and then I will conclude, ma'am. This
Oh,
slide talks about the expenditure of education by the both the countries from government's initiative in terms of gross and also as percentage. Now here
okay.
also it can be seen that the investment done by Chinese government is 10 times than by the Indian government in education sector. So it has a strong bearing on the GR of the country. Now what is the analysis and final finding? That the gross enrollment ratio increasing trend in this factor, this construct, can be correlated with that of economic factors like higher gross domestic product, per capita income, or higher gross expenditure on education sector. Now for India it is very important that we should emphasize more and more investment of percentage of GDP on education sector, in turn will increase the gross enrollment ratio. And since we have also seen that there is a target of 50% of GER to be achieved by 2030 as envisaged in the new education policy, this type of approach may help us to achieve this target. Now, these are some of the basic findings wherein we have said that Chinese education system is based on Chinese language, but we have adopted English as a medium. That is why most of the universities and education in China is more friendly to the users. In our case, learning an English language becomes a tough task if the candidate has not done English education in 10th and 12th class. Now, finally, I have incorporated one slide which compares both the education system, in which I have talked about language part, infrastructure part, and some of the research findings. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Any questions from the judges?
Yes, ma'am.
No.
Mr. Abhishek,
Yes, sir. Yes,
you are
sir.
talking of both PCI and HDI. You think they are interrelated,
sir.
and how can PCI actually affect the HDI? And are there ways or the steps to be taken up by the Indian government to enhance the HDI of Indians?
Sir, can you repeat the question, sir?
What is the interrelationship between PCI and HDI? Per capita
Okay.
income
Sir,
and HDI. And the next part of the question
okay.
is there any step that the government could take, the central government of India, that
Yeah.
could be taken up by the government to enhance the HDI in India in comparison
Okay,
with the
okay.
Chinese counterparts?
Okay, sir, I will answer the first part of your question, that what is
Yeah.
the relationship between HDI and PCI?
Yeah.
Sir, Human Development Index is a latest construct which measures three metrics, sir. It has education, it has healthy life, and it has also decent standard of living, sir. So for every country, different statistics are being brought up, and the report comes by UNDP. Per capita income relates to the amount of GDP and how much is the population of that country, sir. So in economic factors, we can try to say that per capita income has a role to play in human development index, as in, because the relationship between the two factor also calls about education, also calls about investment in GDP, sir. So GDP is the common factor of both the calculation of human development index as well as per capita income, sir.
Right. How to enhance the HDI?
Sir, what was the second question?
What are the steps to be necessitated by the Indian government to enhance the HDI?
Sir, Indian government in particular, Indian government should take, sir, the first and foremost thing which government of India has done, that for the first time they have come out with an exhaustive education policy. But sir, human development index doesn't only looks at the education, it also looks at the investment part. It also looks at the budget of the family. It also talks about the economic aspects, sir. So in order to increase the HDI, the first and foremost post-pandemic we have realized is that exhaustive investment on health sector, exhaustive investment on the education sector, sir. Till date, the percentage of GDP investment in these two areas are quite low if we compare it with a country like Norway and Finland, sir. Most of the European countries.
But how reliable are the statistical data about all the entire country's population? If it is known, then of course you can definitely depend on the steps that are necessitated against the enhancement of
Yes, sir.
human development index. The reliability of the statistical data is very important. Anyway, thank you.
These data have been collected from authentic sources.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
Hello. Hello. Hello.
yes, sir.
See, we can't increase per capita income. We can't increase HDI in India.
Yeah.
What about giving scholarships for higher education, encouraging higher schools, or giving
Sir,
some
I think
income
government
tax?
regulatory bodies like AICT and UGC of late have started giving profound scholarships to these talented students, sir.
No, for
But the
example,
biggest,
parents who are paying income tax, if their
yes, sir.
child goes for higher education, can we reduce income tax? By that, can we encourage higher education? Give
Sir, I
lot of
couldn't get the
benefits or
question.
give scholarships for the students who go for higher education. By
Yes, sir.
that policy, can we compete with China?
Sir, there are many scholarship avenues which are available now for the students from different backgrounds and also from different education systems, sir. If they have passed from state government and they are passed from CBSE or ICSE, there are lots of avenues, sir. Some of the central sector scheme of scholarship for colleges are like Prime Minister Scholarship Scheme or NEC Merit Scholarship. There are many others, sir, depending upon the domain and also the professional and general aspect. So these scholarships in a way can enhance or motivate a parent to pursue higher education, since the cost of higher education in India is too high, sir. And on an average, the per capita income of a family member is too low if we see that. So I think this point is valid, sir.
See, from our university, many students are going abroad to America for MS studies. But they
Yes,
are
sir.
rich people, they can avail loan facilities, something like 50 lakhs and go abroad and later repay. But a middleman,
Yes.
a middle level person cannot send his boy or girl to US. If
Yes,
the
sir, that is
government
there. I think,
encourages such things, perhaps we can also increase that gross enrollment ratio.
yes, sir, yes, sir. I think one thing which government of India can literally do is that, this now we have foreign universities are being invited to set up campuses in India. But I think, sir, the fees structure of these universities will be too high. So the best thing which government can do is to promote them through scholarship, sir. But yes, for a middle class person, it will become a bit difficult to afford that also.
Yeah, as of now, middle class people cannot send their son or daughter for higher study to America or England. Okay, on educational basis, if some income tax is reduced or some incentives are given or scholarships are given instead of loan, then a middle class person also able to afford people their children to send for higher studies. What is your comment?
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
See, you are given a lot of statistics on India versus China regarding gross enrollment, etc. But what are the suggestions to improve from India side?
Sir, on India's side, sir, I think the some initiatives which are being taken, but which are very on preliminary level, is that if possible, although it is very draconian task, sir, if possible, most of the professional degrees which are vocational and job fetching in nature should be taught in our state regional language, or any national language in which people are quite comfortable. Because as far as I have understood, sir, I have worked with two IIMs.
I disagree with you. See,
Yes,
Chinese
sir.
people, they can go for higher education and the medium is Chinese language itself. Whereas we can't go
Yes, sir.
for regional languages like Telugu, Tamil, etc. Even Hindi is nobody will accept. Suppose you want to publish research papers in Hindi, there is nobody to receive such papers.
True,
So
sir. Very true, sir.
what is applicable for the Chinese language is not at all applicable for Indian languages.
Yeah, because we
We
have in
have to,
diversity, sir. Yeah.
we have to read all the textbooks in English only. That's not a good
Hmm.
suggestion.
Hmm. Yes, sir. I agree with you, sir.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Just
Dear participants, there is a 20 minutes break for the lunch. So we will get back to you at 1:45. Still 3 papers are pending. So we will get back to you at 1:45. 20 minutes for the lunch break. We will get back to you at 1:45.
Sir, please stop your sharing, sir.
You can stop.
Priyadharshini? Priyadharshini, are you there? Priyadharshini, there? Last Pri- Arjun and Darshini. Please respond.
Priyarshini madam, please respond. Listen.
If she is not responded, we will go to the next paper. Responded. We will go the next paper. The governance issues and challenges of higher education in India. And the others are Manohar and Muhammad and Khan. Manohar, please unmute yourself and talk. Please talk. Manu. Manu. Please respond. Madam, start. Madam, start presentation, ma'am. Start the presentation. What happened, ma'am? Is there any issues? Is there any issues, ma'am?
Ma'am, I am audible or not? I just wanted to confirm.
You are audible. Please continue, madam, fast.
Okay, so my paper is on governance issues and challenges of higher education in India.
Excuse me, madam. You put it in the presentation mode, slideshow.
Okay, sir. Yes. So my presentation is on the topic governance issues and challenges of higher education in India. Firstly, I'll start with the introduction, which says about, according to UGC, the researchers say that there have been 1070 active universities, which comprises of many private deemed university, active state university, as well as active central universities. Apart from that, the government has started with the autonomous award degrees also, in which they are not affiliated to any colleges, they are autonomous institutions. So if we talk about more of the higher education, there are many organizations which include Indian Institute of Information Technology, Indian Institute of Technology, the National Institute of Technology, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, and Indian Institute of Management, and few other autonomous institutes. If we talk about GER, that is gross enrollment ratio, which is a statistical tool to measure the education sector, in which the number of students enrolled in the school is taken into consideration, and in which we have different levels of education such as elementary education, middle school education, higher school education, and higher education. This indicates the ratio of the number of students in the age group in that particular country as percentage to the total population under the particular age group. According to, if we take the statistics, according to the Ministry of Education, the latest data we have is of GER, in the terms of GER in higher standard, which was improved from the earlier one, which came up to 53.8% from the earlier, which was 57.6%. And if we talk about the higher education, which is only 27.1% from the year of 1920. Apart from the lower GER1 education, higher education, Indian universities could not be recognized under the top ranking globally. According to the result of QS World University Ranking, there are only 4 Indian universities that are ranked among top 500 global universities. If we talk about recent development in higher education in India, which has been improving over the years, but it is not up to the standards the other countries, if we talk about. India is improving their education system, but apart from that, like earlier, people used to come visit India, and it would be a privilege for them to come here and study. But now people of India are moving to other countries because of their new education system, because of their education policies, education system, which is forcing Indians to move abroad and study. So since the last two decades, if we talk about the new education system policy, the process and the practices in relation to higher education have received different dimensions in India, which is helping us to move ahead. If we talk about qualitative changes across, which access to low cost but high quality education, the education is improving, but the cost is also increasing. But if we take into consideration the different types of colleges and universities, then we have introduced in few recent times the encouragement, the most emphasis is given on online education. So with the effective use of technology, India has been able to resolve the long standing tensions between excellence and equity, which they are not able to focus upon. So how to make teaching an attractive career path? We need to expand the capacity of more doctoral students at research universities, delinking educational qualification from teaching eligibility. The universities in India do not face a shortage of academics ready to be recruited as faculty, but the quality is a serious challenge to the people. The promise of excellence and equity have made the Indian higher education system worth of emulation, certainly in the developing world that faces the same challenge as India in the decades prior in its higher education system. The last one is the new education policy, which came up in 2022, which focuses on increasing the GER ratio to be increased up to 100%, that is starting from preschool to secondary. The target is of 2030. The government has a vision to make India a global knowledge superpower through the NEP of 2022. Governance in higher education. There are few central government, state government, different accreditations agencies like NAC, NBA, different statutory bodies, AICT, MHRD, UGC, MCI, PCI, NCTE, NCI, which are helping us, which have their own prescribed norms for the effective functioning of higher education institutes and a university in particular. The issues, if we have, so few of the issues I have listed here. First one is this. First one, it says in India, higher education institutions exist in two significant categories. They are the universities or the colleges. Universities are the autonomous body which are not affiliated to any university. They are their own leaders. If we talk about the colleges, they are affiliated to some of the other universities uh, uh, who are working, who are enrolled, who have to adapt the system, policies, programs, norms, standards set by the university. So secondly, we can say that India has lived long with the affiliation system for several years. The system in place was primarily designed to help college enrollment to adopt university education programs. Thirdly, if we talk about in the private sector, the establishment of university level institution is increasing substantially. Fourth, it talks about autonomy and the accountability, in which we can discuss about panels include issues, namely financial autonomy with provision to block grants, appointment of members on the respective boards, hiring of faculty with pay beyond minimum prescribed by the government, mechanism of revenue generation and retaining revenue in the institution over and above usual block grant from the government. Fifth one is the issues concerning interaction with the government. Statutory bodies are the issues of external governments of higher education system and institution. Sixth one, it is the public research universities and independently administrated universities campus are almost same. Public universities boards usually serve to regulate the university on the behalf of public consequences. Constitute, constituencies. Conclusion. This study finds that despite a significant increase in the number of universities, the GER in India.
Madam, can you please conclude?
Still low and much behind and providing more functional and operational autonomy. Fifth one, effective implementation depends on the active involvement of the top management to ensure this aspect. Sixth one, it is required that proper improvement in the delivery mechanism should be done. Increased involvement of students and more student-driven activities, which may bring quality and participation of students in all those teaching activities. Last one, it is a need to bring attitudinal changes and quality perception among various stakeholders. Thank you.
Any questions from the judges? Any questions from the judges?
Yes, Manu.
Yes, sir.
Mrs. Manohar, you are talking about the role
Yes,
of
sir.
the public and private partnership. You mean to say that only
Yes.
private education should be encouraged in the country, or should the government take a stand and prioritize the government-run educational institutions only?
No, sir. I'm trying to say that there are many private bodies and public bodies also. Both should be prioritized, both should be focused upon, but it should be that both should be given importance. But when a university or a college, if we talk about colleges, they are working under the conditions, under the rules and regulations set by the university. So it is important that we have autonomous universities also. They are doing pretty well. But if we see the growth rate of foreign institutions, foreign colleges, foreign universities, they are growing at a much faster speed much more growth rate in comparison to Indian colleges and universities.
But what do you mean by the kind of a partnership that you have in mind? When you make a reference to both the private and government partnership, so what sort of a partnership do you look for? Hello?
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, I could not answer this.
Yeah, thank you.
Any questions from the audience? Any questions from the audience or judges? If there are no questions, we will move to the next paper. Priyadarshini ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Is it audible, ma'am?
Okay.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Yes, please start your presentation. And the paper title is Challenges in Developing Quality Assurance System in Inclusive Education for Disabled Students in Higher Education Institution. And the authors are H.A. Archana from KLF, A. Priyadarshini from KLF, H.A. Selvi from Chennai. Madam, please make it fast.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Please make it fast.
Yes,
We have
ma'am.
a less time.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. 1 second, ma'am.
లేదు లేదు టెంపుల్కి వెళ్ళాను ఇక్కడ అమ్మవారు శక్తి మాత టెంపుల్కి అక్కడ మన దగ్గర మన క్యాంపస్
Once again, ma'am. Now the screen is visible, ma'am. Is it visible, ma'am?
No, it is visible. It is not visible, ma'am.
I think now it is visible, ma'am. I'm sharing, sharing like this is showing.
It's not visible, madam, for us.
Oh, 1 second, sir. Taking slow time, ma'am. Morning itself, I'm struggling. Same thing, ma'am.
ఆయన అయితే తీసుకున్నాను కూడా పేపర్లు మా పెద్దలు తీసుకున్నాను వాళ్ళు వెళ్ళి తీసుకున్నారు మన వెళ్ళి నేను పోకముందే తీసి పెట్టేసుకోన్నాడు ఒకటి పెట్టుకున్నాడు అది పెట్టుకోంటారు మన లోపల మన వెళ్ళి అంతా అందరూ ఆల్మోస్ట్ తీసుకున్నారు సార్ ఆ హిందీ వాళ్ళు కాకుండా 50 సార్ ఒక బండిలో ఈ ప్రియదర్శిని ఏదో ప్రెజెంటేషన్ ఇవ్వాలని నా పక్కన కూర్చోండి వచ్చి ఇది నా ల్యాప్టాప్ పడుతుంది నా ల్యాప్టాప్ బాగాలేదని ఇది ఐక్యూఎస్సిది ఇప్పుడు ఏదో పెట్టారు
Priyadarshini madam.
Ma'am.
Are you sharing?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sharing, ma'am. It's taking time, ma'am. Slowly it's sharing, ma'am. Net is slowly connecting, ma'am. From morning itself, I'm there in meeting only, ma'am.
Take somebody help, madam, from neighbors. You take
Yes,
somebody
sir.
help fast. You should be ready for everything. Should not wait here, no?
Same thing, sir. I'm changed 2 or 3 laptop. I changed, sir. Here, no towel is available, sir.
No, no,
Morning,
laptop
sir.
not changing. The presentation, how to operate, you should understand.
Sir,
Not
I know,
changing the
sir.
laptop, no.
No, sir. I know, sir. I'm CSC student only. I know, but
Please try
due to
somebody's help and try to.
once again.
It is shared, madam. Your desktop
Ma'am,
is
yes,
shared.
ma'am. Is blue color screen is visible? I think
Yes,
so. Now
yes.
the yes, ma'am. It is opening,
Yes,
ma'am.
visible.
Okay, ma'am. It is opening, ma'am. Once again. Is it opening? 9%.
Madam, you can start your presentation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Start,
And
ma'am.
also you should complete within 10 minutes. We don't have
Okay.
that time.
Okay, ma'am. So, good morning to everyone. I'm Priya Darshini, working as an assistant professor in CSA department. Now, I want to tell about how the disabled students is occurring the educations and what are the challenges they are facing in a higher educations. That only we are going to see in this PPT. Actually, in academic side, each and every people should have a specific knowledge and skill to improve our abilities. So, due to the support of the college, due to the support of the teachers, only we can able to improve our education wise. So, how the technology will help the students to develop our skills and education side in the particulars, and what are the challenges they are facing, especially for the disabled students. That only we are going to see in this section. Of course, each and every person should have that inclusive and equitable quality knowledge to each and every person for to know the lifelong learning opportunities for all. Here, mainly how the inclusive education is coming and supports that disability peoples to know that inconvenience and convenience of a education side of the initial level or a higher level. Here, what are the specifications the peoples who are having the disabled activities? there may be some having some, they should have some privileges, that they should attend some schools which is along with the home site level, and what are the technology they should use means they will apply some online classes from that home itself. So these are some merits for using that people's. But what are the challenges they are facing means how they will acquire that knowledge from that working environment to the outer structures. That only we are seeing in the inclusive education. Here, some sensory disability abilities is occur in a higher education levels. What are the sensory disabilities they are facing in a higher educations, especially the inappropriate teaching methodologies, which is properly planned, and they should be properly given to the particular disability students. That is the main reason how the barrier is constructed between the disabled people and different methodologies occurred between that disabled peoples. So there should be a proper technology, should be a barrier between the technologies and disabled peoples. Here, due to the varied level of experience of exceptional needs, the people's how they are acquiring, that is very important. Due to the physical barriers also there between that higher education and the disabled peoples, but there may be some varied technical level is occurred between that one person to the another persons. For to change this, we should follow some proper curricular method, and proper formal technique method should be followed between the people to the education levels. So how they should become and how they should be learned from the starting level to the end level, and proper teaching method should be applied to between that particular people to the technological level. Everything should follow in a proper method. And due to some lack of facilities also, they are can't able to acquire the knowledge from the particular technology sides. They should know how to acquire the knowledge from technical side, but they don't know how to follow the rules and regulation for know this all technologies. So that is very important. Even the materials available in the content of a technology, but they don't know to acquire the knowledge from the internet too. So we should give some proper rules and regulations how they should occur from the internet content also. So some material will be dispersed also. So everything we have followed. Now also some new technologies is followed in this education levels, and but due to the lack of disabilities, don't know to acquire the knowledge from the internet websites. They don't know to follow the rules and regulation methods. Still they are in a low level education only, and they should follow some good strategy plan to ensure that high level education level of the working method. And there should be some suggestion should be given between that excellence and the uncertainty, how the uncertainty is occurred in a low level peoples, everything that we should occur to the particular persons. And the syllabus of your curricular method should be always followed in a contents based instructions. What content based should be occurred and what contents based should be distributed to the particular peoples. So that only we are giving more importance to the particular thing. And there should be some method, a term of approach. What does that means? Quick fix. Our goal at the end last, we are designing some frames and frames. During that frames, we are designing some curriculum also. In curriculum, we have to fix some rules and regulations. Within that rules and regulations, they can easily understand these are rules are available. These are the rules where we can able to understand and follow the method. Everything we can understand by using some fixation of your rules. And during the taking of a orientation program, any workshops, any conference level also, we can able to gain more knowledge from the home level based education itself. And we should be a proper integrating between the students and the education level of a working methods. That should be a proper barrier should be maintained between that working environment of a particular people to the education wise students. So that we need to construct between that both people, and there should be a proper opinions how they are constructed. Everything should be occur more efficiently. And due to the proper unavailability of here materials, didactic materials means books and any uh, hearing aids, this is because they are disability peoples. So they should follow some methods of dictating materials. If there is a lack of a dictating material also, they can't able to understand the concept of transmitting of your orientation. And after the calculation, after the understanding, how the engaging of your teaching should be followed between that strict curriculum and rigid evaluation standard between that low level people. That is, low level people means disability people, even though they are ready to acquire the knowledge, but still they are in a disability only. So that conversation is going between that education wise and disability wise. So
Madam, can you please conclude?
okay, ma'am. So actually, due to the resources available, at last, even though the conversation, even the education, everything is follow, some special need should be given to the particular students, and some proper resources should be given to the particular students, and redesigning of a study program, and proper planning and proper guaranteed method availability should be present to the particular content. Everything we need to give for the successful training. So mainly we are designing some proper curriculum rules and regulation method. We need a proper successful method, means then the people who are unknown level also, they will gain more knowledge in the higher education. Ma'am? Ma'am, is it audible? Is it audible, ma'am?
Yes, yes. Any questions from the judges? Any questions from the judges?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Priyadarshini, madam.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You are talking about some inclusive practices and policies which have to be incorporated. So
Yes,
what
sir.
are the policies and practices that you actually look for?
Sir, I need proper here pattern evaluation method. So still this, we are following some rules and regulation curriculum. We are forming, everything is there already. We are following, but people who are in low level, that is, they doesn't unable to know the education levels. They should know this is a method. After this, this is the evaluation.
Which particular level do you expect these practices to be put into vogue? Where exactly you want these practices to be put into practice?
Sir, I need pattern recognition method should be evolving, means then students will be more efficient to all the students. Sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, any other question, ma'am?
Any questions from the participants?
Madam,
Sir?
why you have chosen only for the disabled students?
No, I taken that concept with the disability students, that we can able to perform with any other students also, so no problem. But I'm especially concerned on disability students.
No. What is the aim? Why you are taking only for the disabled?
No, I should, even though the people who are in a disability condition, the education should reach to each and every person, especially
That
for
is
the.
it is in general, no. There is no partiality, nothing is there. Everybody, the government also encouraging.
Yes, everybody is encouraged. Yeah, little bit knows the rules and regulation. Online teaching.
No, any
method,
specific
and
reason is there. That's what I want to understand.
so yes, sir, I want to give why I'm giving more concern to disability peoples, means no one is ready, and up to some education they have stopped their educations. So if
That
we
is
are
their
giving more.
family problem. We cannot say no. That is their family
No,
problem.
not like that, sir. Yeah, that I'm giving importance to. Higher education should give to that people's also. I concern. That's all, sir. So education is equal to all persons, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Madam, what sort of disabilities you are considering?
So disability means, yeah.
Disability, can you mention some disabilities you are considering?
So yeah, unable to hear problems, and people's lack of knowledge also one type of disability only.
What sort of disability?
Mainly,
Just
yeah.
mention them.
So hearing problem, eye problem, all are having some problems, that, and the people who doesn't know the basic level of education also, the disability property only, sir.
See, if you are for a higher education, if these disabled people, like who are the blind or deaf, etc., already government has taken a lot of initiatives, and lot of literature is available, and some people are getting a master degree also. Now, what extra quality you want to improve?
So using that sensory devices from home itself, we can able to learn. It will be more convenient to particular persons. So I'm meaning that one, sir.
See, all over the world, people are trying these sensor devices for the disabled person. Not only India. From India side, what are you expecting?
So actually, even though we are following that method, but that special curriculum format pattern recognition method is not there for the particular peoples. So only I'm giving more importance to that one, sir. Not a format pattern recognition is there for the particular people, sir. They are considering their reading using the sensors. That's all.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
And one more paper is pending. Still, she is not yet connected. So we will wait for another 5 minutes. Still that participant not yet joined, so that's why we can leave that. Dear paper presenters, the announcements of awards will be taken place in the valedictory session in the main conference. All the paper presenters join in the main conference at 2:35. The award details will be announced in the main conference. Thank you for choosing this conference. Thank you, Chandra Prakash sir, thank you, Ravi Kumar sir, and thank you, Devakar sir, and thank you, Venugopal sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks.
We will close the session. Okay, sir, thank you.
I'm ending the session.
Lakshman sir.
I'm ending the session.
Lakshman sir, you can end the session.
Thank you.